So this morning, I am excited to introduce you and for me to chat to them, the Financial Planner of the Year finalists for 2022. The winner for this will be announced next week at the as part of the FPI convention that's coming up next week, and at the Gala Awards evening. And really looking forward to see who's going to walk away with it this year. But before that, we get to meet them, learn more about them and sort of their journey, and what they've learned from the process, and the benefit that they've had from just being part of this competition or this award. And really looking forward to meeting them. So stay with us. We're going to be doing this on the other side of this, and enjoy. Let's get into today's session.
This is PROpulsion, the podcast for forward-thinking and driven and ambitious financial planning professionals. It is the catalyst to the exponential growth of your financial planning practice, your business, or your franchise. This is where professionals come in order to learn about the latest technology, to learn about best practice when it comes to running and managing their business, as well as marketing, sales, relationship building, the best and most valuable interviews with local and international guests, and a whole host of other things. Without any further ado, here is your host, Palesa Dube.
Good morning, Tom. Welcome to PROpulsion Live.
Good morning, Francois. Sorry, good morning. Lovely to be here. I've been sitting with listening to your show, so my voice is a bit croaky to start.
No problem. Welcome. First off, massive congratulations on being in the top 3. This is I don't know, is this the first time that you sort of took part in this?
Yes, the first time I entered. I've been in the industry now for quite a few years, and I've always seen the competition as, I guess, a little bit daunting, but something I always wanted to enter. So first time around to be here and get this far with I mean, the amount of people that enter, I know is large, and the kind of quality. I mean, just looking at other finalists and what they've done in their careers and lives. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I'm really, really, really happy. Yeah.
Awesome. I want to know a little bit more about your journey. How did you get started? I mean, you are currently with Chartered Wealth, and which is a very well-known financial planning practice and a business in South Africa. And that's where Kim Potgieter and so on. I mean, they're all from there. So how did you get started? Just maybe a little bit about your journey and how did you get to this point?
Yes, and I think when Norma was speaking earlier about the mental health side, I think back to that start, how I realized at the time, but where I was and what I was doing was not suitable for my mental health, let alone what I wanted from a purpose and value. But yeah, I graduated from university. I moved to Johannesburg. I always wanted to move there. I'm from Cape Town originally, and I wanted to be involved in financial services. It's such a large industry, and anyone who goes into it, there's just so much scope, and it's growing because of legislation, technology, specialization. And I joined a big bank and learned so much and enjoyed a lot of my time there, but really realized that the corporate side of work wasn't for me, many reasons. And I wanted to bring it back to what really was something that was important to me, was people. I've always been curious in people. I love finding out about people, what they do, what drives them, where they're going. And it was never an agenda for me. So, my friends always joke that I'd rather spend time with their parents at a bar, not them, just because I liked finding out about, what they'd been through. So I left the bank and I started really speaking to a lot of people in my network, and through a sort of really odd chance connection, I met Kim, and this was going back to 2014. I met Kim, we spoke. I mean, the first question she asked me is, when you wake up and you sit in front of someone and you help them, does that mean something to you? And I said, that means everything. That is something where I think you can succeed, and I think our company, being Chartered Wealth, is where you can do it. So I started at Chartered Wealth. I was already studying my postgraduate diploma, financial planning. I got that. I was sort of driven to get whatever I needed to get as soon as possible to be qualified, professional, experience. And soon after I qualified and got my CFP designation, that was a big step in my career. I said to Chartered Wealth Leadership, I said, I think there's opportunity in Cape Town. We don't have a presence there. There's a huge need for what we do there. And they showed a bit of faith in me, which I'm really grateful for. And I opened an office in 2019 in Cape Town, and it's growing from strength to strength. We're really fortunate, and I've got a great team. And I'm a director there now, and have amazing relationships with my colleagues, clients, down in the Western Cape.
That's awesome. I always love these stories, just to like, how did you get? And obviously, I think a big part of the thing that's just stood out for me as you were talking is just how much this means to you. It's not a job. It's not a means to an end. It is about the difference that you can make. And it's interesting, like, I'm not sure where Palesa's from. I'm going to ask. I imagine she's from Gauteng. But we've got two people in the top 3 that are from the Western Cape. So, and last year the winner was from the Western Cape. So there's something in the Western Cape water, I think, that makes it a little bit different. But I mean, from that, what made you now decide? I mean, as you said earlier, like, this was a little bit daunting to you, sort of getting involved in this. But what was the thing that got you to actually decide this year I'm gonna take part?
Yes, I think that's it. And encouraging people to take part is something that I want to explore with Leilani and the FBI, because I think it's so important, the journey I've been on. But what drove me was I realized, I think and I believe we're doing such an amazing job for our clients. We're changing and growing and just expanding our value add and everything we want to do for them. But are we doing it as well as we could? So it was a way for me to really benchmark myself and our standards and our ethics and our practice. When I say practice, it's not just sitting in front of a client. It's not just, a financial plan and what receives an information and what you're telling them. It's the whole business that you're running. And as a financial planner, you are running a business. You have clients, you have revenues, you've got costs, you've got technology, as you said earlier, Francois, which is so important. How does all of that fit together? And is it the best you can give your clients? And is it the most efficient? Are you doing it in a way that's suiting where you're going? So the benchmarking for me was so important. And I've learned so much. I mean, we've been great in areas, and I think we can improve in some. And that's the point. I mean, you always got to work at it. So yeah, I think it's great, for me to know that we're here, and my colleagues, that we've got to this point. But also for our clients to say, okay, well they are doing, as much as they put on the can, and hopefully a bit more, because we want to do more and more for what we get from our clients all the time. So yeah, it's been amazing to have that.
And the journey itself, or the process rather, because I know you go through, there's a lot that happens as part of this. What has that process been like? And even less, I mean, what have been the good stuff and the not so good stuff? Because obviously something like this can be very disruptive to your normal day-to-day things. Yeah. But I mean, how did you find the process? Was that a big issue? Yeah. And just sort of, what is the process?
Yeah, tell your family and tell your colleagues that you've entered, and that if you get through, because it's demanding. It's a time-consuming process where there's documentation and a lot of time. This process for me, I spent making sure the documentation was correct, formatting, just making sure every aspect of it reflects who you are and your advice and the general. What your practice does day in, day out. The different rounds are different. So you go through 3, the state application round, second round where you submit documentation, financial plans of clients. Obviously there's confidentiality part that I mentioned. Then the third round is a panel interview, and that's good 2.5 hours. There's a lot of preparation involved there. And it's very, very broad. It encompasses your whole business. And that's what I mentioned earlier. Understanding your business, nothing can get you understanding it like that round and that part of the process. And then the last round, which myself, Hendrik, and Palesa went through recently, is another panel interview with the top people at the FBI and the people that set the ethics and standard and sit with people globally on ethics committees, and they really wanted to see, just in general, am Am I someone who actually lives and breathes the kind of standards that we are putting out there to the general consumer or general client? And am I someone who uses my CFP designation in the right way? Do I understand what that means as a profession and so on? And that was difficult, because you've really got to, you've got to answer it truthfully and think hard about what you represent, what you do. So it's been great and it's been hard, but it's time consuming. So without my great team, who life carries on, business carries on, people still expect the same from you. Certainly couldn't have been here and going into the dinner on Wednesday with the announcements made.
Nice. At the very least, like there's going to be a lot of relief, win or don't win. Like it's not even about that. And I think that's my next question that I want to get to with you is, what has been the biggest takeaway for you from this? What has been the biggest benefit? So maybe a takeaway instead of, there's a realization, but also what has been the biggest benefit for you just finishing this and now just basically waiting for the announcements?
Yeah, I think it's been, it's massive, the reach the FPI has, which is just not underestimate at all, and the community and the network. Their connection to you and the show Propulsion and so many different providers and globally. Just to get connect with people on LinkedIn. I was not a very popular LinkedIn member before, and now I am. Well, more popular, should I say? And to just feel that you are, you heard and you're in a different space from where you were before, in terms of your profile and feeling that you are really getting towards maybe where you want to go. So my confidence, I just feel my confidence is at a different level now. And I know that comes across. You mentioned earlier about doing something that is for purpose and more than the bottom line of the business. And our clients see that. So when I'm sitting in front of someone, I'm confident and I'm comfortable with what I do, who I am, and what we offer. And now I've added to that. I think that's just fantastic. It's going to make them feel that this person can really help me, and they're professional. They've got what I need to succeed. So that confidence has been huge. And as you say, getting this far and winning, I think the margin for increased confidence is because I feel like I've achieved so much already. No offense to my fellow colleagues, but I'm going to try everything to beat them out there. Or I have tried everything because it's gone. But I've really taken my confidence to another level, and it's been great.
Yeah, awesome. Tom, just a massive thank you for making the time to be with us this morning. I know you're also traveling, so thank you very much for that. And best of luck. I will see you. I won't be at the Gala Awards evening, but I will be at the convention. So let's hear holding thumbs for all three of you. But good luck, and we'll definitely chat again.
Yeah, thank you so much, Francois. I love being on the show, and thanks to all the listeners for coming in. A few of the names that I know there for the support. And I really hope to be back on the show in the near future.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And I'll chat to you soon.
Cheers, Francois.
Cheers, Tom. Alrighty, so that's Tom Brukman. He is a certified financial planner professional and one of the top 3 finalists. And he works at Chartered Wealth. Righty, so next up I have Palesa Dube. Palesa, warm welcome to Propulsion Live this morning.
Hello, Francois. Lovely to be here.
Hey, man, what a smile. That's the first thing I saw just now, like as you came on the screen, like what a friendly lady. Warm welcome. And to you as well, Palesa, just a massive congratulations on making it into the top 3. And obviously, I'm very keen to learn your backstory. I don't know, in my experience in the last few years, I've worked with several women in the profession as well, and there are very strong stories of why they do what they do and why they got into the profession, etc. So I'm very keen to hear your story and sort of what got you into financial planning.
To answer your previous question, you wanted to know whether I'm from Gauteng or other parts of South Africa. I'm a thoroughbred, Gauteng born from Thokoza, and I think it ties into what your question around why am I in financial planning. I got into it by pure chance, and I think that's the story that most of us will tell you. In financial planning, I was a young graduate looking for a job, and it was the first opportunity that came. Didn't know very much about it and what it entailed. I often tell the story that my first job was in a graduate program in a bank. And there I was excited coming back home. We'd been issued laptops and a whole set of files, because there was a practical element of the graduate program, but there was also a theoretical. So I go home with a whole bunch of files. And the first thing I walk in, my dad's there, and he's looking at me, looking at what I have in my hands. And what he can see on the rib of the file is the Insurance Institute of South Africa or something like that. And he asks me, so Palesa, are you a should you die? So a should you die was typically, it's an insurance broker. They sell you insurance, and that's the first and last time you see them. And he was concerned, my daughter who's been to varsity, I had such high hopes for you. Is this all that you're going to do with your life? And that was one of my first challenges, to convince my father that this is a worthy profession. And I think that's what I've been doing for the past 18 years in the industry, to, I suppose, remove that stigma, but also help people understand what financial planning really is, and how it can impact their lives. So my business partner and I, Gugu, started our business about, we're into our 4th year now. Our license was issued in 2018. We had been in the banking space, private wealth management space. I worked for a boutique firm for about a decade. And for me personally, working in a boutique space, you look after high net worth individuals. So it's a very select audience or part of the, public that you can solution for. And so I wanted to use my skill set, to use my experience, and to help a broader base of society. And that is the premise of Wealth Creed. And that's why we started our business. We wanted to offer a good quality, high level of financial planning and wealth management to a broader spectrum of the public. And that's why we do what we do. And I love it. And that's why I wake up every day, because you can have such an impact on people's lives. I think what better thing to do with your life than be in our profession. So I love it.
And just to get back to the parents thing, right? So probably when you're in financial planning and you work for commission, it's like your mom and dad, probably everybody's moms and dads, just by the way, goes like, shouldn't you get a real job? Something with a medical aid and pension fund. So that's always an interesting conversation to have. And then sometimes, it goes the other way as well. It's like, we don't understand what you do. We don't get what you do, but I don't know. It is absolutely an amazing profession. And I like what you said at the end, where it's all about the difference that you can make. And I think in this profession, if I may add my voice to that, is if you make it all about that, the difference you make, the impact you have, this is the most amazing thing that you can probably ever do, I guess, because we're saving lives, right? In the end,
absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
Yeah. So what got you to enter the 18 years, right? It doesn't look like it looks like you started 5 years ago. You still look very young for somebody who's been around for 18 years. But what made you into this now?
Yeah. No, when I was saying to somebody else just the other day, I actually need to stop quoting this number, because it's a bit I guess it also ties to that. I mean, in my culture, when there's something, whether a funeral or a wedding that happens and the family comes together, they always want the elders, our auntie, need to come forward, and they make the decisions and what have you. And for where I am now, I mean, you look back and you think, well, where's my aunt? And there's nobody there. I'm now part of the generation that has to come forward and making the big decisions and all of that. And I've taken the same kind of approach to my profession, that I can't look to other people to be doing, being out there, spreading, the message about financial planning and all of that. I've taken the position to say I need to be a lot more active. And so that's why I do the volunteer work that I do for the FPI. Number one, really to increase the prominence of our profession. But secondly, also to help the public know that when it comes to my financial planning, who do I need to be talking to? And so entering this competition, I'm hoping to further that work with the FPI to help them, increase the prominence of the profession. But I think also most importantly, I would also like to spread the message that financial planning and wealth management is not for an exclusive is not an exclusive profession. It's not for certain people that look a certain way. It's for all of us. And it's to also make the public aware that financial planners come in different hues. They are females. There are people that look like you, that can help you set the right, provisions for your family and for your loved ones. And so it's really to, number one, help the public understand that there are these professionals that we can approach to help us with our financial planning, but also to encourage people to come into the profession so that they can see the success stories and hopefully want to emulate them as well.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And then, I'm not going to ask you what was the process like and all that kind of stuff. But what I'm very interested in is, you're in a business with a partner, and there must have been a couple of things that you learned during this process. So I'm keen to know, so because you're taking part, your partner, I don't know if she took part as well or not, but how do you take what you learned from this process and really implement that into your business? So maybe what was one thing that did say, whoa, this is an area in our business that we need to work on? And then what was that like? Is there something that you could take out of it from that point of view and just maybe, something that is now making a difference in your day-to-day business?
Yeah. Look, if I can let everybody know on the call that I think that is actually the opportunity of this competition, because it gives you an opportunity to relook at the business, relook at what's working, what isn't, what should be improved, to reassess your value proposition. And so it's quite intense, like Tom was saying at the beginning. But for me, I found it quite an affirming process, in that it confirmed that Gugu and I are on the right path, as far as how we deliver to our clients, our approach to wealth management, the areas that we cover for our clients. So in other words, offering holistic financial advice. So it was highly, highly affirming that we are building a business of significance and that we are on the right track. I said in one of the rounds, they want to know about the practice standards, how you apply financial planning, ethics, all of that. It was great to be able to tick a lot of the boxes that actually, yes, we are doing this, we're doing that, we're doing that. But of course, you do also identify areas of improvement, and that's what such a process should help you do. So I certainly walked away with thinking that if you think about a client and what or who they have to approach when they are trying to solution for themselves. Often, you'll go to a Palesa Dube, for example, for your estate planning, for some of your risk work, for some of your investments. But we don't have a medical advice license at the moment, so they have to go to somebody else. So those were part of the learnings for me to say, actually, although we do it to a certain extent, that's an area I think we need to improve, just to make the process easier and smoother for an individual, for a client, and less daunting. I think as an industry, we can find ways to work much closer with each other, so that financial planning as in its entirety is far more accessible to individuals. So that's one of the things that we want to improve on going forward.
Nice. Palesa, thank you very much. I just want to end off saying that when you said earlier that, this isn't for a elective group of people that you need to have so much money in order. I think that ties in so nicely to the vision of the FBI saying professional financial planning and advice for all. And I think that is the message that we should be taking out. And good luck. Sorry. I promise I'm not getting emotional in my throat. I don't know what's going on this morning. But just want to wish you all the best. There's nothing more that can be done now. It's now hurry up and wait for the awards evening. But holding thumbs for all three of you, as I said earlier, and keep doing the great work you're doing. I think, at the end of the day, because of the focus, because of the way you do things, all of you are already winners. So it doesn't matter who walks away with a prize at the end of the day or the trophy or whatever it is. Keep doing the good work that you're doing because it's making a difference. And that's what we need. So good luck and thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Frans. I agree with that. Even coming this far is a huge victory in itself. And I also have to give thanks to Google and our team as well. And we're excited to be building our business, and we look forward to even more opportunities in the future and being more active in the financial planning industry. And thank you to you also for the work that you do.
No, awesome. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. Have a good one. I'll see you at the convention.
Thanks.
Thanks, Palesa. Bye-bye. Alrighty, so with that, we get to our last finalist. No new face to Propulsion Live. He was here last year as well, so let me bring him on. He's just got a bigger smile than last year. I think last year he was very nervous. Now, you've now run out on the field. You've played your first Springbok game, Hendrik, so here you are. But a warm welcome back to Propulsion Live.
Good morning, Francois, and good morning to all the listeners. It's really great to be here, and I have to apologize for my internet this morning because I'm on a week's holiday with my kids, and the only safe space I could find is in my car.
It's perfect. Don't you worry. Hendrik, thank you very much. It also shows you, raising the bar means just showing up. Doesn't matter always everything has to be perfect. It's just about, doing the things that has to be done when they need to be done. So, just maybe briefly, if you can just quickly just give a background again on, because you've built a practice and it's a family practice as far as I know. Like you didn't start this practice just from scratch. It was sort of, part of, I think your dad is also part of the practice. But I'm going to leave that just to share a little bit again about story and where you're building your business, because you're in Malmesbury, if I remember correctly.
Yes, Francois. My love for it. My father was a financial planner for 40 years, and I always wanted to follow in his footsteps. So from a young age, I saw a visible change that he made in people's lives, and that was when I fell in love with financial planning. So in 2014, I joined my father, and in 2016, we were roughly, I think, 4 employees. I took and my dad retired. From 2016 to today, I think we 5 times doubled the business, and we're now more than 20 people, more than 7 advisors, with the certified financial planners is growing. We've got 3 that's entering the accreditation next year, that's going through the process. I myself is a very proud CFP professional, and I use that with my clients. So I'm the proud owner of my business, and I surround myself with professional people because I think this profession is heading in a direction where you need professional people giving you advice and sound holistic financial advice.
Absolutely. And what has it been now like for you going through this again? You knew what to expect, right? I think Tom and Palesa was maybe a little bit on the you think you know what to expect, and then you go through this and you're like, holy crap, it's like, But what was it this like? Was it easier this time around, or was it the same as last year? Was it different? Like, what was that like?
It's still a daunting task putting yourself up for scrutinizing. I think all planners would say opening their practices for outside people to have a look at it is a daunting task. But this year I think was a bit easier. The discussions was a lot more open, And yeah, I think I'm proud of what we built, and I'm not scared to put it out there anymore. And I think also, as Tom said, your confidence is building year after year with your practice.
And that's a big thing. I just wanted to say, like, I think that's a big thing that I'm picking up from all three of you is the confidence thing. It's saying like, look, I mean, we're building a good business on the right principles, the right foundations, but this still needs a little bit of work. And you work on that and you make it better. And then the confidence builds and the confidence builds, which is absolutely amazing. And I mean, what has been, is there anything specifically that was, for you, if you think about the things that you learned last year, then took and implemented into your business for this year? I mean, was there a specific something that you picked up again this year, going through the process that, we still need to work on this and that?
So I think something where we started 2 years back with the FBI is, yes, you implement their strategies, their ethics, their principles. But year after year, like 2 years back, we've started with the succession planning. Was a big thing in our business and in our practice. And it's also important to show to our clients that, yes, we are a top financial planning business, but we are focusing on the right things. And the feedback FBI gives you on these conferences and on this competition is amazing. You can use that, you can implement that. It's best practices. You get a little bit of feedback after entering the competition, and I can really tell all CFP professionals out there, enter this competition, your life and your business will be better in the future. So for me, every year you get a little bit more and you get a little bit more into the detail. And I love that because I love learning. So every year you learn a little bit. And for me, that's the nice part of it, Francois.
Awesome. So, I mean, you're going to be at the Gala Awards evening, I assume. So you'll be done with your holiday. So you will be up in Joburg. I want to ask you, I mean, you building your business. It is affiliated with a particular sort of a product provider, if you will, or financial services provider. And I mean, it's interesting to me because there's something that I learned from the relationship, getting to know you and people like Henry, etc., to see what you guys are building within that framework, something that is completely different from what the traditional way of doing that is. And I'm sort of keen to maybe ask, and I don't know if it's a fair question, but for me, I'm very interested to learn, like, I mean, how do you manage to do that, right? Because when you work like, I think and why I'm asking the question is because often the mindset is that, unless you're independent, IFA, you can't really build a business like this. You need to be independent. Yet guys like you and Henry, etc., are proving, Andre, I mean, you're proving this to be different. And the funny thing is you're all young, so I think there's a different thinking there. And I want to know, like, I mean, how do you go about just maybe a high level around building a practice that have got everything that you would in an IFA, but it's situated within a framework, within a financial services provider, basically?
Yes, I think, Francois, when you turn a CFP professional, you really start giving advice on a different level, where you surround yourself with the right people, and you really give advice where it goes about trust, it goes about tax, it goes about the entire holistic financial advice, estate planning. You can do the taxes yourself. The tied versus independent space is so small currently because nobody knows what's going to happen in 20 years. Not even the actuaries can tell you what's going to happen in 20 years. So for me, it's really focusing on advice, and being a CFP professional allows us to give this advice and to professionalize this advice. And being tied or independent, I don't think it makes a big difference on your professional advice you're giving. So I hope that in short summarizes what you was looking for, Francois.
Yeah, it's a fantastic summary because I'm of the opinion that being professional has got, I won't say nothing to do with your qualification and your certification, but it's got mostly to do with what you focus on, your behavior, how you conduct yourself. Where do you put the client? Are you really putting them first or not? Or are there other things that you're putting first and making it look like you're putting the client first? Those are the things that really make you professional. And I think the message here is it doesn't matter where you find yourself. You have full control over putting the focus on the right things. Yes. I think that's the important sort of takeaway for me from that. Hendrik, I don't want to keep you from your family. Thank you very much for being here this morning. Congratulations on making it into the top 3 again this year. Best of luck. I'll be holding thumbs, as I said, for all 3 of you. I'll see you guys at the convention and hopefully shake your hands. And let's see, as I said, it doesn't matter who win at the end of the day, there's so much that you take away from this. It's absolutely worth everything. Winning will just be the cherry on top of that beautiful cake that you've already baked. So good luck. As I said, nothing more that can be done now. It's not just getting the results. But I'm glad I'm not part of that battle that needs to make or had to make that decision. So, but thanks for your time and for driving out in your car, go sitting on a mountaintop so you've got a signal. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Francois, and thanks to your listeners. And Francois, I'll see you next week. Cheers.
Absolutely. Cheers. Bye. Righty. So next week, my guest is Henry Watson, and Henry is from a business called Prime Pixels, and a part of that is a virtual. You'll know that a few weeks ago, we spoke on the show about outsourcing and what you should outsource, when you should outsource. And one of the big things was, or one of the big questions that came was about virtual assistants. Like, where do we find them? Who can we trust? Who can we use? So I've gotten Henry. It's a UK-based company. They've got offices in South Africa as well. But I'm going to talk to him about, not about their business, but about how do you go about finding a virtual assistant? What are the pros and cons, and the things that they see most people battle with when making that transition into starting to use a virtual assistant. So we're going to talk about that and a whole host of other things. So really looking forward to having him on the show next week. So on that note, you know the story by now. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Be blessed and prosper and continue to raise that bar. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening. Remember to check out the live show, Propulsion Live, on YouTube every Friday at 7 a.m. South African time. You can find it at www.propulsion.co.za/live. That's propulsion.co.za/live. And please remember to subscribe, share with your colleagues, your friends, and anyone who may find value like you did in this podcast. Once again, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next episode.